Bradley Mark Fishkin, Seeing Red, you're an icon for this team, both on the field and now for most of the time since your playing career ended, off the field as well. Can you talk about what it means you've got your number up there, talk about what it means to be entered as literally part of the furniture of this great stadium, and what it means to you, your journey?
How you doing, Mark, by the way? Good to see you. Yeah, it's a tough question because I don't want to give you guys a cliche answer. I don't want to just be like, it's humbling. And it is. I think if I'm being real, just a kid from South London, you don't think you're going to end up playing in America, for one, let alone have your number retired and then now inducted into the Legends Row. So it's more when I've retired, I look back at these things and I'm like, wow, I didn't plan for any of this. I just wanted to come here, score some goals, prove that, I wasn't in my dad and my brother's shadow. And then all of a sudden I have these kind of accolades. So I didn't want to use the word, but it's humbling. I don't really have the word for it because I didn't plan for anything like this, but it's amazing. I love New York Red Bull, or Red Bull New York as we're calling them now, it would always be close to my heart, and yeah, I can't wait for Saturday.
Next, go to George.
George from the Exchange FC. Mike, when they tell you that this is going to happen and they're going to give you this honor, what was your first thought when they told you something of this nature was coming to you?
Do you just call me Mike?
Sorry.
Yeah, my name's Bradley.
Bradley,
Nice to see you again.
I'm sorry.
Honestly, I think you guys might have saw it. It was like I got surprised at the 360 studios. And my first thought was like, why are my kids here? And Tony at the back is, partly to blame for them. I'm like, how are they even here? I just left them in New Jersey, So already by then I was ready to tell someone off. I was ready to, go into dad mode. And then when the crew come out and announce it, I know Luis Robles had got one of these, and it was something in the back of your mind. You're like, okay, maybe I'm in for a shot. But just to hear it that day was nice, man, because normally at that time in the studio, I'm trying to go for a nap. I'm trying to go to, get my head down, not think about football for an hour. But it was nice. It was a nice change. And it was, I think as a football player or just an athlete or just a working, person in general, I don't think people see the work behind closed doors. And whenever you get, these kind of accolades, it kind of tells everybody, this person was working really hard, even when you didn't see. So it was nice.
Next, go to Christian.
Bradley, when you think back to your career here, is there one particular moment that stands out that really maybe defines your time in New York playing for this organization?
One particular moment. It's going to be negative. I think not winning a cup. I got a lot of friends around the league, that have won cups, guys that I played with, guys that I just know through the game. And it's the one thing that I don't think about playing too much, anymore, but being on the TV on the weekends. When you talk about some of the best players in the league, you talk about them winning MLS Cups. And it doesn't hurt because I didn't win it. It hurt because we had the teams to win it. And I think that's what the struggle is. Even now, I think you guys see when we open up the new training facility, Thierry Henry was here. And you'd think Thierry Henry has got bigger things on his plate, and this man's won everything: World Cups, European Championships, Golden Boots, and like everything you can ask. And he brings up to me, we didn't win the cup, and it's something that doesn't leave me. I wish we did. I think we had the squads to do it, but yeah, that's the one thing that stands out.
Go back left corner.
Hi, Cassinia, Soccer Long Island Magazine. Bradley, you have scored like 100 plus goals in the league, which is making you the only 13 who have done so. How does it make you feel?
Yeah, very, very proud. Very proud. I remember getting here and Johnny Steele. I don't know if you guys remember Johnny Steele. What a guy! Shout out Johnny Steele. I wasn't getting in the team. I was getting hamstring injuries. I couldn't get a start. And I remember when I finally did start playing, Johnny was like, yeah, you just need to score like 12 or 15 goals. You'll get a new contract. And I was like, 12 or 15 goals? I can do this, Like, this is something I'm capable of. And then I started banging in goals. And then after you get maybe to 50 and, they're not trying to kick you out the door, then you think, maybe I got a bit of time, maybe I can get to 100. And as I got to like 50, it was something I was trying to reach, in private. I'd always say I wasn't. But growing up, I saw my dad, break a record where he had 179 maybe for Arsenal. And it was always a dream of mine, So it was a proud moment to take off my top away at DC, our biggest rivals. a very a very good moment for me and the team, because it's something I didn't share, but I always wanted to get 100 goals for a club, and to do that was something special.
Next go to Voss.
Voss, Soccer View Radio. Congratulations on all the accolades, Bradley. Can I just ask you about the impact that you've made on not just the club as a whole, but the next generation? We see guys like Julian Hall now breaking out, and what does it mean to you to not just be etched in the club's history, but also just have that impact that's now generational, you could say?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to take credit for those boys and their talent. First of all, they're Julian, Adri, Matty DeSantos, Ronald Donko, Sofo, Mosquera. A bunch of them are just very talented players and hard workers. But I'm privileged that I, get to share or got to share the pitch with those guys and just give a little bit of advice when they needed it. Those guys will tell you at the training facility. Ibrahim Sakaya, Dom now, Michael Bradley, Julian de Guzman. I didn't want to be a coach. I don't think coaching is my story. But I found like a little space in the market, if you will, of where I can be effective, be out on the pitch, watch training, and then when I see something go wrong or something go right, just encourage that and try to, help their talents grow. And that's all I've done. There's a lot of people that have done way more than me, but it's honestly just a blessing to be around them. Like, I'm the fan now, I can say I know Julian Hall, I know Adri Mehmeti, and it's just good to be around them guys. They're hard workers, mixed with talent. And the job's not done, we're excited on how they look and how they're playing, but we know the career is long, so a lot of hard work to be done. But yeah, just good to be a little part of their story.
Next go right here to our right.
Hello, congratulations, Janela Cartelli for Agenda Sports. What do you hope fans remember about you when they see your name?
That's a funny question, because while I was playing, it's going to sound so weird, I hated just to be known as a goal scorer. For some reason, now when I look at it, when I tell my children they play soccer, so I'm like, no, score goals. Get your name on the score sheet, get an assist. But to me, it wasn't enough. I didn't just want to be known as a guy that just scored goals. I wanted you to see, that I worked hard. Or like if my hold-up play wasn't good in one game, I wanted the fans to recognize, oh, this week it looks like he's been working on his hold-up play, or he's got more assists this season. So I just wanted to be remembered for a player that worked hard and had an all-round game, wasn't just a goal scorer. I don't think that worked. I think they still see him as a goal scorer, but if you go back and watch some of the tapes, I had a little bit more. So yeah.
Next go to Kyle.
Hey, Bradley. Congratulations. Talk about Michael Bradley for a second. What makes your relationship with him so special?
I think first of all, it's weird because I'd known Michael Bradley for years, just playing against him, but we didn't know each other. I remember just like having arguments with Michael and the Toronto side. Almost hated him, almost just didn't like him. There was something about him, I was just, this guy annoys me. But I think it's because he's winning. And when I met him, from conversation one, you can see he was a winner. And it filled in a lot of pieces to the puzzle of why they, beat us in, was it 2018 maybe? They won the cup, and a lot of it made sense. The man is very smart when it comes to football. Very good at getting his ideas across to players. So I feel like I have good ideas, and sometimes I'll be talking to players for 15 minutes trying to get an idea across, or what I have in my head to those players, he can do that in 10 seconds, And then also how hard he works. There's a couple of people I've met, and we're going to keep this about Michael Bradley, but it's like Ibrahim Sakaya as well, Michael Bradley. They're the kind of players, the coaches. When you go to the training ground, and I'm one of those guys, I need to go in, I need to get eggs. I need to talk to people. I need to, understand where I am for a minute. I need to just wind down before I start thinking about football. You go in there already in. They might be in the gym. They might be in the office going through formation, set pieces, training plan. And then when you leave, maybe 5, 6 o'clock, they're there for like another 2 hours. So yeah, it's a nice relationship I have with him, but it's more of a respect for the work he does and the player he was and the coach I think he's going to be.
Good, Alejandro.
My question is, what is your favorite memory that you had in the Red Bulls? And my second question is, what is your favorite goal that you made in the Red Bulls?
Favorite memory is hard because we have a lot of good times. All the shields, Yeah, there's certain games that stick out in my mind, so I couldn't do a favorite memory. But favorite goal is it's a goal I scored against Philadelphia Union away. I think it was 2015. My brother was on the team at a time, and he assisted me for a goal, and it was very emotional because I played with Sean at Manchester City. Once I broke into the first team after a while, Sean, he went to Chelsea. He got bought to go to Chelsea, and my world almost turned upside down because I thought, we were going to play together for, what you're like. When you're young, you think that you live in a dream world. And I thought, we're going to play for Man City till we retire. He's going to assist me every week. And it just wasn't to be. He just left. So to get another opportunity to play with him for Red Bull that was special in itself. He was living with me until his house was sorted in my basement. It was unbelievable. It was like we were 14 again. He wasn't getting much time on the pitch, so when he got his chances, he had to make the most of his opportunities. So for us to combine on a goal was amazing. It wasn't the prettiest goal, but it's my favorite goal for Red Bull.
We'll take 2 questions on Zoom. We'll go to Dan, and then we'll go to Anthony. Dan, you have the floor.
Brad, Daniel Feuerstein, Bad Dog Sports. It's great to see you again. Congratulations on this wonderful moment for you. Did you ever think, while you were, hopping around English football clubs like Plymouth Argyle, as you said, you were with Man City with your brother Sean, that this trip to the United States and become a legend of this club, did it ever cross your mind you ever have this day? I know you said already, but you came here on a whim.
Yeah.
And look what happened to you. And you were the first player to be the fastest to score 100 MLS regular season goals.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I think you guys might have heard the story, and thanks, Dan, as well, for the congratulations. But no, I honestly came here to train with Thierry Henry. Like, Thierry Henry was my idol. I'm a big Arsenal fan, so, I think it's hard. You got to be in England to understand the arrogance and almost the ignorance of how we looked at Major League Soccer back then. So I was just thinking, no, I'll come here, I'll train with an Arsenal legend, and then, see, maybe I'll go back to England if it doesn't work out, and I'll get another team there because I had a few offers. But as soon as I got here, I saw players like Dax McCarty, Lloyd Sam, who I knew from before. I saw the quality of the training ground, the facilities, and then I kind of put myself into the picture of the squad and the team, and it all started making sense to me. I didn't think it would work out this well, but as soon as I got here after like a day or two, I knew it was a place I needed to be.
And we'll go to Anthony.
Hey Bradley, it's Anthony from AGM Sports FC. Just follow up a little bit. You just mentioned about perception of MLS when you first came over, what it was like. How are you helping now that you're on the outside with that perception when you talk to players from other leagues when they're considering coming here?
Yeah, well, it started off when I was playing. It's funny because Major League Soccer will get a lot of slander. I think it's a little bit less now. But my thing, I've been an advocate for MLS since I got here. I think when you're doing well somewhere, you want people to respect that place. So it might have come from a selfish place, but I wanted to prove to the rest of the world that this is a good league with good players, good teams, good facilities, good franchises. So yeah, people will be phoning me weekly, get me out to Major League Soccer, get me a club, and I thought we didn't like it over here. Why do you want to come all of a sudden? And now while I'm on the TV, and I've got a little bit older, it's not about trying to convince those people. I think in my opinion, where Major League Soccer's gone wrong, and maybe it's just my faults, is that we're trying to compete with the Premier League and La Liga, and we don't need to. We're Major League Soccer. Like, we have a fun league. There's goals every weekend. I think when you watch the Prem now, and I love the Prem, I grew up on it, it can be boring. Sometimes it isn't fun to watch. It's too tactical. People are scared of what they're going to lose, or there's too much on the line almost. You watch Major League Soccer, it reminds me of when I watched the Premier League when I was younger. There's bangers from 30 yards. You don't know who's going to win the game. You don't know who's going to win the MLS Cup, and that's why I subscribe to football. So I think as I've gotten older and I've got to sit back and watch the game, it's not about convincing them. It's about making people love the league we love. Making them see that what we have to offer. Some of the best facilities. Some of the best players now. We have the best player to ever play the game that's playing in our league. So it's not about trying to be like those other leagues. It's about convincing them that we do it different over here.
Everyone, we have time for one more question with Brad. We'll go to Christian.
Brad, I was just curious. Obviously, you have a big investment with this club from an emotional standpoint.
I'm neutral now, by the way, just because people are watching.
Yeah. In terms of the direction of the club, I'm curious to get your perception of where things are headed with the young core, with Michael Bradley now here at the helm. Do you feel like the club is headed in the right direction? I know there's a lot of fan frustration, especially after last night's loss to NYCFC.
Yeah.
I'm curious kind of where you see things headed right now.
Okay, so let's start there. Anytime you lose to your biggest rival, it's going to be frustration. I'll be disappointed if the fans weren't angry. But yeah, to your first question about the direction, we're in great hands. We've got a young coach, he's enthusiastic, and we've got good young players. And we can't have short memories. At the beginning of the season, we saw these young players taking the league by storm, scoring goals, winning games, and we're all excited. Then we see a few losses, and then we get upset. We just need to stay steady. This is what's going to happen if we're buying into, progressing young players and a new philosophy. There's going to be ups and downs. It's about what happens at the end of the season. I do know when I watch Red Bull, I'm excited. I know I enjoy the football. I enjoy the young talent that's on the pitch, and I think we're going in the right direction.